From Patriots Point Soccer Stadium in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, it's the USL Championship tonight, presented by Publix in the Eastern Conference, as the Charleston Battery welcome Miami FC. Alongside the coach, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques here with you. Happy to be with you for this one, a really big game in the Eastern Conference as we look at the standings as it currently sits in the East right now. With a win for Miami, they would jump back in the playoff spots in the top 8, and the Battery are trying to fend off the advances from Louisville City, not just in the Eastern Conference playoff chase, but in the Players' Shield chase as well. And coach, the Battery put together what Ben Pierman called an excellent performance last time out.
And Sean, many teams try but do not succeed in picking up 3 points at New Mexico United, and Charleston did just that. Showcases that relentlessness, that ambition of this group. Terrific response since conceding that equalizer and picking up a massive 3 points.
Rubio Rubin got the key goal, his first in his return to the Charleston Battery, that helped the Battery get that big 2-1 victory. Izzy Sullivan breaks down a recent conversation with Rubio after, of course, he also played at the Gold Cup with Guatemala.
Thanks, guys. I sat down with Rubio Rubin earlier this week, and he said coming back to Charleston and scoring his first club goal in the win against New Mexico was the cherry on top. He said that moment really opened the floodgates, and he's feeling more confident than ever. After being away in the Gold Cup for 6 weeks with Guatemala, he said it was surprisingly easy to reintegrate with the team, both because of how well the group has been doing and because of the momentum he's brought back with him from the international stage. Scoring for your country, he told me, is the best feeling in the world, and he's now channeling that same energy into his game here in Charleston.
Well, because of Rubio Rubin's fantastic performance last time out, he's tonight's Fleet Feet player to watch for the Battery.
Well, it's scary to think that this Charleston Battery side have been this explosive offensively, with Rubio Rubin just starting to come into form. Obviously, Cal Jennings, Juan David Torres have been electric, but such quality and awareness in the attacking half, another player opponents have to be aware of.
And Paris is in the attack.
Best when they can play fast through the lines, but also when they have good numbers to combine in the final third, and Bonfilio is that player that enhances each of those areas.
When you look at the all-time series between these two, Miami leads all-time, and they tend to do well here in the Low Country as well. Charleston, of course, are trying to stay at the top of the Players' Shield race, with Louisville on their heels and also playing later on tonight. It's a big one in the Low Country between the Battery and Miami, and the kickoff is next.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, me quedo ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo. Mr. Messi.
Make it look ultra. Cerveza light superior.
Dance like nobody's watching. Except when people are watching, like your roommate and the new boyfriend you forgot she was bringing over. Believe in yourself. But know your limits, because right before an interview really isn't the time to try being a hairstylist. Anything is possible. So yes, winning is possible, but so is not winning, which means sometimes the best way to play is to save some possibility for another day. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting better players and a better you.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Tonight's walkout is sponsored by The Ideal Life, the title sponsor of the Charleston Battery. Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew here with you. Let's jump into starting lineups presented by Michelob Ultra. We begin with top of the table, Charleston Battery under the coach, Ben Pierman.
It's going to be about setting the line of confrontation both on and off the ball. Graham Smith and Joey Aponono will guide this team in that regard. Then offensively, highlighted by the dynamic threat of Juan David Torres and Cal Jennings, who have 16 goals and 10 assists between the two of them.
Battery are unbeaten in their last 4 league games. Miami, though, are winless in their last 3, and Gaston Madoni hopes that this 11 can turn things around.
And Felipe Rodriguez steps into goal. High-quality young goalkeeper. This is a team that has been so difficult to break down defensively. Look for heavy involvement from Cardona and Ricketts in both boxes. 1v1 duels and then the quality wide delivery. And then how does Vasquez and Milano complement and support what this Miami team does offensively?
This fixtures history is a very, very interesting one. Miami have won more against the Battery than the other way around. 7 wins over 15 prior meetings between these two. Miami also won the last time these two met, almost a month ago to the day, June 18th, down in South Florida. Romero's second half goal gave Miami a 1-0 victory. It was the first time in the league this season that the Battery were held scoreless in a game, and it's only happened once since, and that was against the Birmingham Legion. Ben Pierman talked with us at length earlier this week about how difficult this Miami defense at times can be to break down.
And to add to that storyline that you just highlighted, you just mentioned it, where these two teams are within the season. Obviously, Miami FC have just been as competitive as can be. Charleston Battery setting the pace and the tempo in the East and in all of USL Championship.
Trying to keep themselves ahead of Louisville, who play Tulsa in about 20 minutes' time in Kentucky. Miami will get us started. They're in their road whites, orange and green trim. Charleston are in their home blacks with the yellow trim. And in the Low Country, we are off and running at Patriots Point Soccer Stadium in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. If anybody has had success here in the Low Country over the years, it has been Miami. They've won here 3 times before. That's as many as anybody has ever won here. In the USL Championship's recent memory, can they do it again to get their playoff hopes back on track, get back into the top 8, more importantly than anything else? And for the Battery, hoping to continue to stay atop the Eastern Conference and in the Players' Shield race, really only 3 points will do, with Louisville looming on their heels, playing later on tonight.
And no disrespect to Miami FC, but that stat you just read off is not something that you would think of coming to Patriots Point and getting results, and not even just getting results, getting 3 points.
Yeah. Miami won in the meeting back in June by a 0-0, and there's only one other active team in the USL Championship that have won here 3 times. It's the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The other team is not an active USL Championship team. It's New York Red Bulls 2. We're currently in MLS Next Pro. And Miami are off to a decent start here. That was a good ball fizzed across by Lucas Milano. Miami pick up the pieces here on the edge of the penalty area. The cross towards the back edge of the 6 is headed clear and then helped along by Rubio Rubin for the Battery. Miami win the ball back as we look at our keys to the game. They're presented by Cruz Subaru, the official automotive dealer of the Battery. And we start with Ben Pierman's men.
Yeah, for Charleston, it's about winning the wide areas. Can you dictate where this game is played and win the battle of territory? And for Miami FC, manage big moments, and that's in both boxes. Can you make the big plays when they're there to be made offensively, but also minimize some of the threat that this high-octane offense from Charleston Battery can create?
Oh, that was a real chance for Miami in behind. Zamudia was beaten. That clever touch around him goes out of play, and it's a goal kick. That was Serrata.
Positive start for Miami FC. The pressure they're applying and the numbers they're doing it with are causing a lot of problems for the Charleston Battery. It's always that fragile time in a match as we see more pressure from Bonfilio, because as the home team and the team that is coming off of 5 unbeaten, I mean, the run that they're on, the Charleston Battery, it's a bit of a wake-up call. 3 minutes in, you've kind of been tested early, and for Miami FC, can you continue to maintain this tempo? That becomes the question.
Well, the Battery swept the season series against Miami last year. Of course, Miami had a torrid 2024 season, as bad as we've ever seen. But before that, Miami were unbeaten in 6 in a row against Charleston, including 4 wins. So overall, look back through the last nearly 10 matches in the series, it has been predominantly Miami dominant. And they're off to the races again here. That cross into the middle is cut out. Battery have been on the back foot in these opening 3.5 minutes. They get it clear onto this near side. This is brought forward by Nathan Dos Santos into some space. Battery reset with the Irishman, Aaron Malloy. Lovely switch of play onto the far side. Jennings. 2 shouts for a foul to our official Matthew Corrigan, who is in blue. Dos Santos on this near side. Too firm of a touch, but the Battery will keep the possession.
This is an identity for Charleston Battery that they've displayed throughout the season, but something that needs heavy involvement tonight from Dos Santos. Segbers pin Miami back. Obviously here early on, Miami's made it a point to put pressure when pressure is there and available. It's something that as they see more and more of the ball, that higher line, the starting points, positional play, good turnover. I mean, right now, the individual duels for Miami are being won, and that is controlling some of this tempo.
One of the things that Gaston Madoni stressed to us in our talk with him this week was how important it was for Miami to get as much of the ball as they possibly could. So if we didn't get enough of the ball, we're likely going to lose the game, and they're off to a great start in that category. Let's look at tonight's injury report. It's brought to you by MUSC. Just Daniel Kuzemka out for the Battery officially at the moment. Miami, for the most part, are okay when it comes to injuries for the time being. But of course, no Bill Hamid tonight means that Felipe Rodriguez, who Miami have every confidence in, that was mentioned to us multiple times, they feel that Felipe Rodriguez can step in and do the job for Miami tonight. We'll see if the Battery can test him early and often.
Was a mainstay and a regular last season as well, making some quality appearances for Miami FC, so no stranger to this stage and this team. It's always fascinating when we talk to coaches week to week and the various matchups. They all tend to get to the conversation point of how do we want to suffer? Every coach and every team knows that there's going to be in 90 minutes, there's going to be a spell that you're going to suffer, whether it's off the ball, on the ball, in possession, out of possession. But you get to choose how that is. And you mentioned it earlier, for Miami FC, they want to see more of the ball, or they are going to suffer without it. And for Charleston Battery, if they're not able to win some of those wide battles, those wide areas, the duels, quality of services, and show real intent and purpose out there, then they're going to suffer in different elements of this match. So let's see how that plays out. But right now for Miami FC, they are collectively hunting the ball.
They have it again here. They try to poke it through that Battery defense. Milano was available. Battery retrieve it with Malloy, who's under heavy pressure on this near side, and Miami win the ball back again through Cardona. And again, a big step defensively sees Charleston regain possession on the edge of their own area. They can't move it much further than that. It's just underneath Rodriguez's touch, and Ben Pierman asked for a bit more as Miami gets a throw.
And the natural progression for Miami FC is now turning these turnovers from Charleston Battery into opportunities, and then now opportunities into full chances. Because right now, you're turning them over, you're causing a lot of havoc, and you are being a nuisance defensively. but it has not materialized into an opportunity, one that you can capitalize on.
Here come the battery here. Rodriguez a step too slow on that ball from Juan David Torres, who's been excellent this season. Ben Pierman actually threw his name into the league MVP conversation. It's because of distribution just like that for Cal Jennings. But Felipe Rodriguez passes his first test of the night for Miami.
And that's why for Miami FC, you need to start layering in your opportunities, because Charleston Battery have been able to do it in a variety of different ways throughout the season. This is the reason why they lead in the Players' Shield race right now, and they're setting that pace for the entire league, is because they don't just do it one way. They can get results in a variety of different ways, and when we talked to Ben Pierman this week, he had talked about winning ugly. He had talked about that was a piece to their conversations after their loss to Miami at Miami FC, was they need to get to a point in the season where when things are not necessarily going their way and the pace of the game is not necessarily settling in the way they want it to, they still have to find ways to win.
By the way, Ben Pierman did say, hey, if you want to give it to Abdelatif Abukura at Loudoun, you want to give it to Taylor Davila at Louisville, that's fine. There is a case for Juan David Torres. He leads the league in assists coming into the night with 7. He leads the league in chances created with 43, which is, by the way, 10 more than second place. And he has 11 goal contributions in the league this season. That's quite the resume.
You just can't take your eyes off of him. I mean, off the ball, you're just watching his movement. He's so explosive. Good ball in here.
Here come the battery again. This is Rubin linking up with Jennings. Jennings on the turn. Rodriguez on the shot. Saved by Rodriguez. Parried out for Rubin. The Guatemalan assesses the scene. Malloy not on the same page, and Miami wins it back. We hinted earlier at the embarrassment of attacking riches for the battery. Lovely little interplay there between Rubin and Jennings.
Yeah, a player like MD Myers is not in the lineup tonight. When you go through the roster and just how dangerous these players can be and this collective can be.
Dos Santos. This is Torres. Decent ball in, is cushioned away only as far as Malloy. Dos Santos. And Torres. That wand of a left boot. Clever little infield pass for Rodriguez, who goes over the top for Torres, but Rodriguez reads it really well for Miami. We get a chance to look back at this battery buildup.
And I think what we're starting to see for Charleston Battery is they're finding the initial outlet, because the pressure is on for Miami FC, and what they have struggled here initially is finding that first ball, finding that first pass, and now they are doing it. And once they break that line, off to the races, and they're doing it with good numbers. You can see like they're almost matched up 4v4, 3v3 in a lot of those moments.
Milano trying to find Zarate in the middle. It bounces out for a throw into Miami on this near side.
I almost feel like the pace of this game has already been Miami FC throwing one punch, and now Charleston Battery counter-punching.
The chest take there, Bonfilio nearly with an unbelievable take. Not able to finish it off. The battery collapse on him in an instant. That would have been a sensational move there. Well, it gives us time to tell you that battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Groups of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, private hospitality areas to watch the match, and more. CharlestonBattery.com is the place to go to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. This opens up for Rodriguez. And there was no deflection on the way through. Maybe too much space for Rodriguez to operate.
Miami FC retreating into their own box. Rodriguez sees this opening and then just slices this high and wide. Put all that power behind it. tested Felipe Rodriguez just a few moments ago too, so a couple good looks here early. You talk about Juan David Torres for the MVP in that MVP conversation. If Miami FC make the playoffs, Bonfilio is right there in the scoring race. I mean, he has impacted so many matches for Miami FC, and this is a team that has 16 goals total. Bonfilio has 10 of those.
Yeah, no one else has more than 2 goals in the league this season amongst the Miami ranks. And the player that does have 2 is a defender, Dalton Knutson. Jennings tries to make life difficult. Knutson in the back line for Miami here. It's feathered down this near side. It does go out of play. It's a battery throw. There's time and space here for Torres. Sliding it through here. This is Cal Jennings off the post. Well, 9 times out of 10, you'd expect Cal Jennings to finish that off. Not this time.
And this is where Miami FC have to be very careful, because they brought this exciting tempo to this match on the road. But you almost feel like they spent too much time talking about where that throw-in was supposed to be taken from Charleston Battery. They got caught sleeping and let off the hook.
Malloy. It's gonna fall here for Torres. Just misses the target. A few close calls for Miami in an instant. It's a goal kick in the end.
Yeah, the only player that we have not seen have a look at goal yet is Rubio Rubin. I mean, we've seen chances from Rodriguez. We just saw that chance off the post from Cal Jennings. Now Juan David Torres gets himself involved. We'll go back to it. Miami FC have to be careful, because you have to like the pace that they brought to this game, the pressure that they're putting on. But they are one mistake away from having to pay and being a goal down, and let off the hook, arguing about that throw in, and played through the lines, and just like that, Cal Jennings was in 1v1 on Felipe Rodriguez. And just a few moments later, Juan David Torres gets an opportunity.
Great hold up by Jennings and Rubin. Juan David Torres finds Rubin in the traffic. More battery shirts joining into the attack. Torres recovers off a miscued pass. Sliding it through for Jennings on the turn. Back for Torres. Back for Cal Jennings, who again is a whisker away from breaking the deadlock.
Multitude of ways that the Charleston Battery can get themselves in the attacking third and in these goal-scoring areas is incredible. I mean, they do it with distances, they do it with winning that battle of territory in terms of the link-up play, the ability to hold up play and allow players to get involved, allow players to climb the field, and then when they're there, they're able to maximize what limited space is available in the attacking third. They're just so quick off the ball with their decisiveness on the ball that difficult to track. And you can see after those first 3 to 5 minutes where they kind of conceded some chances, had some casual turnovers, they've sharpened up, fine-tuned a lot of areas of their game. 17 minutes in, they have created the vast majority of better chances.
Miami's trying to bounce back after a late equalizer that conceded to Leicester. No questions about that. The USL on ESPN2 returns July 26th. The Jaeger Cup Round 4 matchup between Detroit City and League One newcomers Westchester SC. July 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2.
Go back to that result against Lexington. That makes this start to this match even more impressive for Miami FC. And you concede a 93rd minute goal. You think you have 3 points in the bank, and now you go sharing one in an Eastern Conference that is so tight. Points are so valuable right now, and you just can't afford to fall behind.
Laser beam shot here, bounces just wide from Emilio Icaza. I think Rodriguez did just get a paw to that. It's going to be a Battery corner upcoming.
They're asking different questions. Charleston Battery are mentioned the amount of players that have tested Felipe Rodriguez thus far, and now add Emilio Icaza to that list.
It's a Pepper Law Firm corner, official legal services provider of the Battery. Aaron Malloy will provide the service. And it's a free header, and it's the opening goal! Joey Apanonu gives the Battery the lead. It was only a matter of time. And Charleston lead Miami by a 1-0.
And they had been knocking on the door after that fast start for Miami FC. But just showcasing the relentlessness, the quality, the composure, and the poise that this collective has. They're gonna be collaborative, they're gonna be progressive with how they solve problems. And they have done just that. Continued to challenge Miami FC, earn the first corner of the game, and capitalize. That man, Joey Apanonu, beats his player to the spot.
Joey Apanonu is 23 years old. That's the first time he has scored in a professional game. It's a Diamonds direct goal for the Charleston Battery, shining bright in these opening moments. And Apanonu becomes the Battery's 10th unique league goal scorer this season. And they're off to the races again. This is Malloy. Great save, Rodriguez. Easily could have been 2. And the Battery are starting to find the spaces in the Miami defense.
Yeah, they're finding the outlet. They're pushing Miami FC back into their own end. Gotta be aware of another corner kick here. So Apanonu able to drag his defender wide and then beat him central, and then obviously all the other runs were executed to a T.
The Pepper Law Firm corner. Rodriguez completely missed it, but was fouled. In the process of getting to the ball, it's gonna be a free kick for Miami.
But this is also for the Charleston Battery. They know they're gonna get Miami FC's best shot tonight. And they know they need to keep their foot on the gas. They have a 1-0 lead. They have responded terrifically to the pace and the tempo that Miami FC came out with. But they have to keep pushing, because if there's anything that everybody continues to talk about with this Miami FC side is how competitive they are, how relentless and difficult they are to beat. So you know you're gonna get everything from this group that has so much to play for. I mean, you look at the stretch that they're going on. This is gonna be the first of 3 road games. They're at Pittsburgh next, then at Hartford. Then they host El Paso, who's been fantastic in the West. And then host Lou City, and then at Indy. So this is a stretch for Miami FC that know if their ambitions are to be met to make the playoffs, they need to be contenders in games like this.
Talking to there for Diego Mercado, it brings up another point that Miami are going to have to contend with a bit here tonight. Miami statistically are actually the most ill-disciplined team in the USL Championship. They're tied for the most yellow cards received with 49 to this point in the season, and they're tied for the most red cards received with 5. this seaon as well. So that is something else, sort of in the background, that Miami is going to have to keep in check if they're going to hang around in this game.
And it plays to the emotions that this group plays for. I mean, the passion that this team is built around. Bring it game in and game out. Now they do need to be measured with that moving forward, because what you don't want is some of those cautions, some of those plays to cost you points down the line.
Oh, nearly a mistake. Jennings was in the area. It deflects off of Knudsen, who didn't know too much about it.
He almost saw that ball as soon as it left Vasquez's foot. That uh-oh moment.
This ball is going to find an opportunity for Miami. Out of almost nothing, there's numbers joining in here. The ball played across, ricochets towards goal, where Zamudio is able to grab it after Bonfiglio was in the area and nearly made something happen out of that.
And you could see what they wanted to do. They wanted to play Bonfiglio as he was running into it. She almost would have been better off playing it right to feet and let him make the play, because very well read from Charleston Battery.
Rubin. Gorgeous ball out to this far side. Here's Mark Segbers making his 200th regular season appearance in the championship tonight. He plays it for Jennings. Rubin for Arturo Rodriguez, and Rodriguez, Felipe Rodriguez that is, makes the save off of Arturo's attempt.
That has been one busy man. It's about the 5th minute on. Charleston Battery are just flooding the box. They're playing front-footed, they are playing opportunistic.
And again, the silky smooth link-up play. Jennings and Rubin, it's almost like they've been playing with each other for years.
And it almost seems effortless. And that's no disrespect to the defending, because you have some high-quality defenders on the Miami FC side. I mean, this is something that Charleston Battery have done to opponents all season. So we see them not only setting the pace in points for the league, but also in goals for the league. So this is a team that takes a lot of value and a lot of pride in being that multi-dimensional threat, being able to solve those problems and break opponents down.
To your point, Apanonu's goal was Charleston's 36th league goal of the season. That is the most in the championship. They've only conceded 16 goals to this point in the campaign, and that's just the way Ben Pierman likes it, hitting on all cylinders, that balance that he always seems to bring out of his Battery teams. You're also coming off a season where you had the league's best player, arguably, Nick Marcanic, goes overseas, and bring in Cal Jennings, and it's as if he never left. Jennings is of that quality, of that ilk. Battery have also brought in other players that have provided options and opportunities, and it's worked so well. As Torres, Rubin, and Jennings, oh, well, neither one of them could provide the definitive touch, as Charleston are just waltzing through the Miami defense whenever they please at the moment.
Miami is living on that fine line between aggressive pressure and creating some dangerous chances in their defensive box. Obviously, Charleston Battery doing a spectacular job of finding the outlets, creating superiority in the attacking box, but Miami FC has to find that first ball pressure that makes that next play predictable, gives that back line an opportunity to make a play, because right now it is Charleston Battery breaking one line and then they are off and running. A lot of that is coming from that pressure that Miami FC is applying, which has benefited them in some instances, but putting a lot on this back line, and you can see it, and you can see Charleston Battery. ball is popping off their foot. Their ideas are just flowing right now.
Still early on, but I just took a look at the expected goals. It's 0.71 for the Battery. It's a goose egg for Miami. They've had some half chances, no questions about that. You mentioned it, since around the 5th or 6th minute, it has been one-way traffic. It's led to the opening goal, and clearly the Battery are hungry to add on to that tally. Ikaza slipping it through. Battery are in behind again. Rodriguez with a definitive touch. Arturo Rodriguez. Oh, Pipe. Rodriguez with a ridiculously good save at point blank range. And somehow the Battery are thwarted again.
I mean, this has to be the 3rd or 4th big save that Rodriguez has had to make. He's made a couple from distance. One on Ikaza kind of stands out, and then this one, the patience from Arturo Rodriguez to bring this ball across, knowing the defender was going to commit. Felipe Rodriguez standing tall, making the save.
It's a Pepper Law Firm corner. Gaston Modoni said at least 3 or 4 times on our call this week, we trust Felipe Rodriguez, and you can see why. Time and time again, he has kept Miami in this game in these first 30 minutes. The Battery take advantage of another set piece. It's Ikaza who they celebrate around, and the Charleston Battery are 2-0 up inside of half an hour.
And it's just that wicked left-footed delivery from Juan David Torres. We saw it in the first goal against New Mexico United on the road for the own goal, but when you whip in a ball like this, it makes it so difficult to track and make first contact. And Emilio Ikaza just puts himself in a position where he just puts this home. You can see him pinning his defender, Nicolas Cardona, winning that battle inside. That is a well-earned goal. Emilio Ikaza battling for positioning, making this game a 2-0 advantage.
His second league goal of the season. Emilio Ikaza, it's a Diamonds direct goal for the Battery. And Charleston thoroughly deserving of their 2-0 lead.
When you look at both set-piece goals, the credit to the runners. Obviously, Apononu, Emilio Ikaza. But quality delivery, first from Malloy and then from Juan David Torres. And that's something that when you are pinning a team back and you are starting to force them to make play after play in their own 18-yard box, you know you're going to earn some of these deeper free kicks, whether they are corners, whether they are earned free kicks from fouls. And they have capitalized at a high level.
It's Juan David Torres, his 8th assist of the season. It's his 12th goal contribution. Well, the Battery are back in action here at Patriots Point, July 26th. They take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticket provider of the Battery. Get yours now. Rowdies are struggling at times this season, but they're another team that have had some success here, no question about that. But Ben Pierman's side have been rocking and rolling in these first 32 minutes, and he said that that New Mexico performance was excellent. To go there in a tough environment, get the 3 points, come back home, another opponent that just has had your number at times over the years, and the Battery have looked razor sharp over these last 25 minutes of action.
And it didn't look that way in the first 3 to 5 minutes. I mean, it was turnover after turnover. You almost felt like that was mounting. The momentum was going into Miami FC's favor, but we knew that that had to be maintained for Miami FC. And obviously that was a very small sample size to open the match. But the Charleston Battery have not only opened up play, but they have done it in a loud way. 13 shots, 8 of which have been on target. Felipe Rodriguez has been a busy goalkeeper.
Of course, the Battery are also trying to pick up their 8th home win of the season. Out of 9 league home games, the only team that's beaten them here was Louisville. The first night of the season, back in early March. In the USL Championship, the Battery haven't dropped points here since.
Well, you knew they were going to come in with a little extra from this matchup because Miami FC was only one of 2 teams that have kept them scoreless this season. The other being that 0-0 at Birmingham. So 2 games that they've been held scoreless.
Well, and Jennings is onside here from Rubin. Cal Jennings! Oh, it's saved by Rodriguez again! Parried out only as far as Arturo Rodriguez, who puts it back into the mix, and it's headed out for a Battery corner. Pipe Rodriguez is standing on his head here.
I mean, and just how quickly the Charleston Battery are not only picking out their runners, but executing the play. I mean, but Felipe Rodriguez, I mean, I know this game is at 2-0, but it is not as at fault of Felipe Rodriguez. He is doing everything in his power to keep this game close.
Pepper Law Firm corner. Here's Torres to the byline. His cross is headed to the outskirts of the penalty area. Arturo Rodriguez fizzes it into Malloy. Malloy's reverse ball is not going to get to Jennings. And Miami will clear it. Malloy recovers it for Segbers, who's just 9-10 minutes away from reaching another milestone tonight. He's already gotten his 200th regular season appearance. When we get to the 44th minute, he'll have played in 15,000 regular season minutes. His remarkable career. Of course, he's a former Miami player as well, doing it against his old club. But in his media availability this week, he was just thankful, grateful, pretty much thanking everybody else, but of course he's done so much of the hard work and joins an elite club in this league.
There's one thing of being available in terms of health and the way you play, but it's another to put yourself in that 11 consistently like Segbers has done, and that just shows the class of a player and a professional that he is, and extremely excited to see what he does in the future, and huge milestone tonight.
Ikaza was marauding. It falls for Segbers. Plays now towards the far side. Segbers continued his run. He'll get to the byline. Segbers into the middle for Ikaza. Couldn't keep his footing. Battery still trying to pin Miami back here. They finally play their way through the visitors and they'll have a chance to get this over the halfway line. Ophelio is up ahead. Malloy trying to backtrack here and lays a challenge in from behind. It is going to be a Miami free kick. Will it be a card for the Battery captain as well? Corrigan is our head official, and it's just going to be a talking to based on the Miami reactions here.
Yeah, you could see their argument. It felt like they had all of the runners and the channels taken up to make that extremely dangerous scoring opportunity, but it halted with the foul.
Everything Gaston Madoni's side have been through in this first half, they can get one back.
Yep, I was just about to say that. The focus becomes, can you put this in an area where you either get that glancing touch or you put enough traffic or havoc around the box that you could pick up a second or third wave, because you need to try to get something out of this half. If you can cut this to 2-1 before the break.
Will be Sarate, who lets it fly. It wasn't a million miles away, but Zamudio watches it flash past the target.
Seen it from the Charleston Battery already, using restarts, using corners to score their 2 goals. Miami FC goal bound there, just unable put it past or on frame. At this point in the first half, it almost becomes that blend of risk-reward, because at 2-0, you're going to have to cut into this deficit at some point. So what do you throw at the Charleston Battery? Obviously, you've thrown the pressure. You've got some of the distances wrong, which is what has caused some of the chaos that you've seen in terms of the Charleston Battery being able to pick out their runners and at will almost, but you flip some of this pressure into quality looks.
What you just said reminded me of something that Gaston Madoni told us earlier this week. We asked him about where he thinks the defensive side of the game is at. He said there's been too many times where we've been pushed back too often. So he wants the line to be higher up the field. And the Battery have made sure that time and time again that hasn't been the case. And they've been able to just slice and dice their way through Miami's defensive setup.
Yeah, you got a sense through the conversations and through watching these two teams play coming up to this matchup that the line of confrontation was going to be huge. And who was going to dictate that line of confrontation was going to see a lot more of the success. And go back to that first 5 minutes that Miami FC had. They were challenging Charleston Battery, but as soon as they were able to pick out a cleaner outlet and a cleaner way to get out of pressure, the floodgates opened and the chances just began to mount, and get 2 corner kicks and you punish them both times.
That's the other part of it too. The set pieces were not well marked by Miami, and as Ben Pierman has told us multiple times, in a Players' Shield race where you have to focus on yourselves at times and just win ugly, like you had mentioned earlier, Coach, you have to take your opportunities when you get them, and that's exactly what the Battery have done.
Yeah, they were just flat out 1v1 duels that were lost because they weren't second or third actions off a free kick. They were cleanly won on the initial service. So obviously the runs that opened up that space were pinpoint and well executed, but also the ability to win your positioning battle was just as crucial, and they did just that. And you like when you're asking those difficult questions in the run of play, in transition, but then you can also capitalize and be ruthless in those free kicks and those corners.
The goals from Apanonu and Ikaza. Definitely two of the more unlikelier resources for goals for the Battery this season, but they've now had 10 unique league goal scorers. So that's the part of it. That's not a surprise. So many different players have chipped in. Apanonu adds his name to that list.
Other than a couple touches from Bonfiglio in and around the 18-yard box, we have not seen that involvement. Now, to that point, Bonfiglio is the threat that he is because he does not need a lot of touches. He doesn't need heavy involvement to all of a sudden flip a match. So you do need to constantly be aware. You do need to influence some of those entry passes. They have done a good job of minimizing and neutralizing his impact. And you know that that's going to be a key for Miami FC going into the second 45 if this game stays at 2-0.
Arturo Rodriguez, lovely touch to find Rubin. This is Torres. Cutting towards the byline, Torres to ground. Referee waves it away, nothing doing. And Miami gets possession back, hoping to clip it up the other end, but there's nobody there. And Zamudio will reset for the Battery. Jennings from Malloy. And Jennings is fouled from behind by Milano. Free kick.
Why not? With a few minutes left, take your time, get this set up. Obviously, you've been extremely successful on free kicks and restarts. And goodness, you have two players like that, Malloy and Juan David Torres. You got a left foot and a right foot that can exploit different spaces.
That's a free kick scoring opportunity brought to you by ProLift Garage Doors. Another ProLift free kick. Battery could use here to potentially add on to their lead. Is going to be Juan David Torres. Oh! Parried over the top by Rodriguez, who just continues to shine between the sticks. Corner for Charleston upcoming.
And you just knew that he was going to be favoring making a play in front of him, thinking that Juan David Torres was going to put this in an area right above the 6-yard box. And Juan David Torres says, no, I'm going at frame. And Felipe Rodriguez, time and time again, and like I said, this game stands at 2-0, but Felipe Rodriguez has made play after play after play. Now I have to deal with this corner.
Another Pepper Law Firm corner. Torres again. Ooh, it came up a little bit short. It was flicked on, and he's out for a goal kick. And now that we've gotten into the 45th minute, we can confirm that Mark Segbers has reached his second milestone of the night. He's now played 15,000 USL Championship regular season minutes. He reaches that milestone on the same night he makes his 200th regular season appearance for the Battery, and fittingly enough, his team is 2-0 up. And it could be more with Arturo Rodriguez on the prowl. Clipping it back across. Miami are there to defend it. But again, the Battery quickly win the ball back to reset. Goes all the way back to the great defender Graham Smith for a reset.
We've touched on these two teams, where they were trending in their trajectory after that last match. 5 goals conceded for Miami FC in 3 games. Coming into this game for a team that's so stout defensively.
We're into 2 added minutes, brought to you by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Kind of goes back to something we talked about earlier, which is that the East is so tough. The whole league is just such a brutal slog to get through. And you're just gonna go through tough stretches. I mean, how many times have coaches talked to us about that this season? And Miami is 3 in a row without a win, hoping to avoid a 4th here if they can come back tonight. And again, they started the night outside of the top 8. They would stay there, of course, if they don't win the game here in Charleston. So that is going to be something that every team has to navigate at some different points of the season. And this is one of those times for Miami where they have to get their head back above water before it's too late.
Well, you find yourself match to match at each 45 or throughout games that you just refresh the standings.
With a deflected shot there, is going to bounce out of play. And Miami, in the final seconds of the half, are going to get a...
Aaron Malloy and Juan David Torres. You get a good look here.
Romero will take this for Miami. Could be the last act of the half. And it's going to be cushioned away comfortably by Malloy. Never got to where it needed to go from a Miami perspective. Torres is hounded here. And ends up doing really well. It's out for a goal kick. And that is the last act of a half where the Battery were brilliant, really, from start to finish, just about. 2 goals from set pieces, and at times they were overwhelming against Miami. But Felipe Rodriguez has kept the men from the 305 very much alive.
Yeah, for Charleston Battery, it's been about making themselves available in those outlet passes, the ability to execute and be high quality in those moments. And for Miami FC, they've gotten that first wave of pressure right, but they've gotten that second and third, the distance is wrong.
Tempers fraying a little bit at the end of the half. Both teams will get a chance to simmer down during our halftime interval here. And the Battery were as advertised, leading the way at the moment in the Players' Shield race. Miami's young goalkeeper has kept them in it. Big 45 minutes to come, but we'll take a break in the Low Country with the Battery leading 2-0.
Charleston is located in the low country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else.
This place is magical.
NRDNASC is a genomic screening research program. If we can identify a specific genetic factor that's involved, we can intensify the screening with an effort to prevent cancer and heart disease.
The NRDNA project is really a unique opportunity for individuals across the state to participate in genetic testing. That's another way to help provide data and research so we can learn more about the underlying causes of certain health conditions.
Declare your purpose at Charleston Southern University, offering a wide range of undergraduate degree programs, including majors like aeronautics, engineering, business, and education. CSU is committed to providing you with a biblical worldview and a cutting-edge education. The campus experience includes Division I athletics, small class sizes, intramural sports, and more, all at the only Christian university in the low country of South Carolina. Join the Buccaneer family and apply today at charlestonsouthern.edu.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Halftime is brought to you by The Ideal Life. It's been the ideal start for the Charleston Battery. They lead 2-0 over Miami. Halftime here in the Eastern Conference of the USL Championship. Plenty more coming up in just a moment, but in honor of National Tattoo Day on July 17th, here's Juan David Torres telling you about his body art and what his tattoos mean to him.
Okay, my favorite tattoo is this one because it's about my family. So that's the word, familia in Spanish. And that is the name to my mom, my sister, and my dad. And that's the tree, the tiger, because he's like protect my family, my dreams. That's my heart and the soccer ball. So that is my favorite. That's my favorite emoji because it's like me, you know? It's like me, I'm crazy, I'm happy, you know? So that's like me. My first was this one. My dad designed the tattoo, like the number 10 is my favorite number when I started playing soccer when I was kid. Was my first number, so that was the first one. My whole leg is like very special for me. You stay strong like in my whole life, my whole career, you know. This one 1% the chance and 99% fight. So it's my life, you know. The lion. This word too, resiliencia. So it's very special. My whole leg, and it's my strong leg when I play soccer. So it's very special for me. This one is the date when I did my first game in the professional soccer, you know. So and the word say no desistas, but that's the date when I play in Millonarios, Colombia. Was a dream completed, you know. So yeah, that's important for me too. Yeah. This one in my other side is bendecido, like a blessed. So it's important. It's good for me. Yeah. No, that was crazy. That was crazy. Hurt a lot, and when I did this one, I did this one too. So in the same time, you know, when I go to home, after that, I'm crying because I take a shower. So I put my leg, that was crazy. Yeah, but I like it. I like it. He's Colombian. My tattoo is Colombian. I know him when I play in Brazil. I think my old tattoos, just this one, but my old tattoos he did it in Sao Paulo. When I want to make a tattoo, I go there. It's very confident, you know, because tattoo is most important for you, for me, for you. So I want to, they did it the best possible, you know. I want to do more tattoos, you know, my whole back, my chest, but I don't have time. But when I go to Colombia in holidays, in my holidays, I think I did.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines, from early mornings to late nights, from fun with friends to winner takes all, from the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Who wants that smoke? You want that smoke? Look, I ain't playing, I'm saying this ain't a joke. There ain't no bluffing, I'm calling you out for show. It's either all in or nothing, I go for broke. Who wants that smoke?
Wait, come back! Wait, come back, I need more help.
Take a load off Fanny. Take a load for free.
Today we went to the beach, and it was totally worth it. Stay 3 nights this summer at Best Western and get $50 off a future stay.
Whoa, termites can eat a pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day. Pound of wood a day.
What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
3 up top and not 2. Take a 2-1 Hartford.
Hands home at the back post. The Kings of Chaos strike again.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, me quedo ultra.
Okay, order one. Mr. Messi.
Make it look ultra. Cerveza light superior.
Halftime in the Low Country. It is Charleston 2. It is Miami 0. Here in the USL Championship tonight. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, your entire crew. Happy to have you with us. We'll get to the second half in a moment. First, we look around the rest of the USL Championship. It's been a milestone kind of night, kind of week in the USL Championship. And best names this league has had to offer. There's 3 of them for you right there. Well, we had El Clamico on CBS earlier today. There was some craziness after full time. We'll leave it at that, but it was a 0-0 draw between Rhode Island and Hartford. Oakland leading at Loudoun, and it's 0-0 everywhere else.
that Birmingham Legion and Colorado Springs Switchbacks game is massive because Birmingham Legion have seemed to turn a corner and starting to get some results. Colorado Springs Switchbacks, now as we approach that second half part of the season, we need to start picking up 3 points.
I think they started the night bottom of the West. The defending champs have some work to do. No questions about that. We'll be keeping an eye on that Louisville game as well in the race for the Players' Shield as the Battery are taking care of their end of the bargain. They lead 2-0 at the half. We'll have highlights, stats, and the second half kick coming up next from the Low Country.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
30 years of covering the Low Country, I know what your home means to you. Hi everyone, I'm Dean Stevens, and when it comes to heating and air or plumbing needs, I call Fix It 24/7. Why? This team is old school, do things the right way, they care. Whatever it takes to get the job done. I've seen it firsthand and why they call it legendary service. Nothing but the best for a legendary city. More than 500 5-star reviews, and I'm obviously not alone in how I feel. The next time you need service, go to fixmyhome247.com and click the Book Now button.
Moments away from the start of the second half here in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. 2-0 Charleston over their Eastern Conference rivals, Miami FC. Sean St. Jacques, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew here with you as we jump into the Public's first half highlights between Charleston and Miami. And after a decent start for the visitors, the hosts really then kicked it into high gear.
Yeah, found this outlet. This was a prelude for what was to come from the Charleston Battery. This chance from Cal Jennings that hits the post, putting Felipe Rodriguez from Miami FC into a lot of pressure throughout that first 45. And then it was corners that found the breakthrough for Charleston Battery. Obviously, you're winning some matchups, you're creating some space there centrally, but highlight the delivery. I mean, Aaron Malloy and Appanonio with his first professional goal. You could see what it means to him, putting his side up 1-0. You could just see he beats his defender inside. And then they weren't done. They earn another corner later in the match. And then you get that left-footed delivery from Juan David Torres and another dual one in the box. Emilio Icaza sitting in that space, positioning himself where only he can win the touch on the ball, tucks it away, and this game is 2-0. And they continued to ask questions through this first 45, just weren't able to find the third goal. And you know that pressure is coming in the second half.
And the Battery scored 2. They could have had 2 or 3 more. As you look at the Sphinx halftime stats, I mean, they tell you the full story here. 10 shots on target for Charleston. Miami only mustered 2 total shots.
I will say this. This game of football can present some interesting dynamics and storylines.
Yep.
So the numbers are very fragile. I mean, the numbers are very loud for the Charleston Battery, I'll say that. The 15 shots, 10 on target. But Miami FC only need one chance, and they have not produced that one on frame, but you know that you're going to get everything from this Miami FC side that are vying for a playoff spot.
It goes back to what Felipe Rodriguez did in that first half, standing on his head, to keep Miami in it. And Gaston Madoni has also made a sub at the start of the second half as well. Zarate is out, Alan Gavilanes is in. So we'll see if that can help change the momentum in Miami's favor at the start of the second half. Teams, of course, will switch sides. The Battery will be going from left to right, leading by 2-0. Of course, they'll be hoping, as Louisville at the moment in the live table are dropping points to Tulsa, that they can maybe extend their lead in the Players' Shield race. We'll wait and see how all of that unfolds at the end of the night. Again, Sean St. Jacques, the coach, Eric Dobransky, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. It was a brilliant first half from the Battery. It was a great 5 minutes for Miami, and now they are trying to pick up the pieces, down 2-0 at the start of the second half, and facing another week where they could end the week outside of the top 8 and would still have quite a bit of work to do to get firmly back in those playoff places. There's the Gavilanes change for Zarate confirmed, and Miami have it inside the opening minute at the start of the second half.
And hoping to increase that collective midfield pressure. We talked about it in the first 45. They were getting good pressure from that front three, that first wave. But it just became too easy for Charleston Battery to play out. The UFC were unable to regenerate that press and put themselves in positions where they could pick up some of those second and third balls, and they paid the price.
Well, Vasquez on this near side pokes it along, and then there was a foul. Ryan Segbers clogged up the area, but Milano is brought down, and it's a Miami free kick.
Anytime you're looking at overcoming a 2-0 deficit, obviously you touch on defensively because you have conceded 2 goals. So what helps minimize the threat? But offensively, how do you break this half down? You have plenty of time. Do it on the counter. You could do it in possession. Earn yourself a free kick in some dangerous areas. Put yourself in a position where you can get numbers crashing the box. But it all is predicated on you cannot concede a third goal. And Charleston Battery know that because they're a team that will continue to force the issue.
Oh, Jennings, was he tripped up there? The referee says no. Segbers tried to clip it past Vasquez, but was dispossessed. And then Vasquez, some quick feet, he's fouled. Ooh, or was he? Gaston Madoni certainly thought so, the Miami coach. It's going to go Charleston's way, it appears, on this near side. Wonder if the flag maybe went up. Other than that, it's going to go the Charleston Battery's way. Zamudio comes out of his goal. A little bit of miscommunication here amongst the Battery ranks. And now, eventually, Graham Smith will leave it for Luis Zamudio to clear the Battery lines. Certainly Miami were hoping that Graham Smith was going to play Zamudio in. Charleston takes the easy way out. There'll be a throw-in for Charleston. Just in front of Ben Pierman and the rest of the Battery substitutes. And there's Ben Pierman giving a few words of instruction to Graham Smith on this near side.
Well, you're seeing for Miami FC, that man, Bolu Akinyoti, playing higher up the field now. Having to make an adjustment. They're going to start to throw numbers at Charleston Battery, as you would expect. And in the break, you know that it's coming, but you don't know in what tactical form it's coming until you see it, and then you can make some of those adjustments.
Oh, what a feed from Torres. Nearly picked out Rubio Rubin. But again, Pipe Rodriguez is on the case.
There's just not a ball that Juan David Torres can't play. I mean, outside of the foot, inside of the foot, a bending ball, texture, the pace. I mean, there's just so much in his toolbox that make him such a quality and attacking presence.
It's almost like a golfer that doesn't have a weak club.
Yep. That's a great reference, yeah. And even his misses are not bad misses.
Yeah. He's been fantastic again tonight on David Torres.
Yeah, I think offensively for the Charleston Battery, I think the conversation at the break would have just been efficiency. I mean, it's really the only thing I could think of. Obviously, some of the quality that you find in that final moment, because 10 shots on target.
Zamudio in an awkward spot there. Clears it out. Quick Miami throw. And this near side, Vasquez into the middle, diving header away. Charleston trying to move it up the other end, but Jennings is snuffed out by Knudsen. Now Ricketts clipping it over the top. Smith wins the header. Yodi fights his way back through, but it's Dos Santos and the rest of the Battery players that can play their way through. Dos Santos dangerously back to Zamudio, who was ready for it. And then Zamudio gives the ball away, high up the field, and eventually Charleston, after nearly playing themselves into big-time trouble, cleared away.
Well, that's going to play into the confidence and the momentum for Miami FC, not just because that this is a bit of what we saw at the start of the first half, but I talk about some of the narrative that you take into the break. For Miami FC, they're going to say that, yes, they've conceded 2 goals, but both of them coming off of corners, so they didn't necessarily give up those goals in the run of play, in transition. Obviously, some of the chances that Charleston Battery had in those moments were big, and you don't want to keep giving up those. But they're going to feel good about some of the other areas where they're going to feel like they let themselves down, as they never rewarded themselves in creating that clear look, that opportunity at goal. They had the 2 shots, but neither of them on target, and one of them being a free kick from distance. So Miami FC is going to look at it and say, hey, we lost 2 marks on 2 corners, and we're down 2-0. Get over it and start moving on into how can we create offensively.
Hopeful ball in here. Vasquez! Oh, he nearly got it past Zamudio. Best chance Miami have had in quite some time. What a ball. Vasquez just couldn't get it past the Battery goalkeeper.
Yeah, sneaky run, rewarded with a quality delivery, and you almost see Graham Smith taking the slightest of touches here at the end. That's what you get when you play that inviting ball. You get a goalkeeper coming off his line, you have a center back playing towards his own goal. So whether you get a touch on it or the opponent does, put it in the mix.
Torres, gorgeous for Jennings. Jennings plays it across Malloy's dummy, 3-0, fabulous. Arturo Rodriguez with the finishing touch on a sparkling Battery move from start to finish. A team goal, if there ever was one. 3-0, Charleston leads.
You said it, a team goal, and what comes to my mind is collective, the movement, the selflessness that comes into this play. And what a ball in. It initiates all of those runs, they flood the box, but the awareness to just leave this ball, and you know and you trust that your teammate has that run coming in from behind. Cal Jennings knows exactly where to put it. You can see Juan David Torres putting his hands up in the air as Arturo Rodriguez was running onto it, knowing that that was going to be tucked away. What a collective performance we've seen thus far from the Charleston Battery.
4th league goal of the season for Arturo Rodriguez, another Diamonds direct goal, a 3rd unique goal score on the night for the Battery, who just looked silky smooth there from start to finish. And now Miami have to climb a mountain to get back into it now.
That was that all-important third goal that was going to make this game incredibly difficult for Miami FC.
Oh, Milano trying to get one back. Tried the early curling attempt. It does go wide, but signs that Miami might not be dead and buried yet.
And I like the look there from Milano, taking it, knowing that he didn't have a tremendous amount of numbers joining in that attack. It was really 2v2, 3v2, favoring the defensive side. But you were given the space to take the strike. Another shot for Miami FC, not on target.
There are a few teams in the USL Championship that can just take it up to that other level that many teams cannot get to. The Battery are one of them. They have been showing it tonight, but Miami have fight. They have that gutsy mentality. They're trying to battle their way back here, but the Battery defensively again do their job. David Torres up ahead. Rubin has Malloy for company, and then Torres has bumped into, and that's going to be a Battery free kick.
And you brought up a great point in our conversation with Ben Pierman this week about that balance of getting 1% better every day, but also the Players' Shield race. I mean, and Ben Pierman had noted that the natural comparison is going to be between them and Lou City, because those are the two teams setting the pace, not only in the East, but in the league. And he just continued to focus on you cannot waste opportunities, training or the weekends. But I'm telling you, Sean, it's so much easier to talk about it, and it's so much harder to live it. And you're seeing it, a prime example of a team in the Charleston Battery, and obviously Lou City as well, two teams that are living that standard. And that is incredibly hard to do, because that is buy-in from organization, staff, players. I mean, that is a clear and cut message that is not only sent, but lived out. And you're seeing it on full display tonight, the fluidity, how dangerous they are, how collaborative they are.
Just to piggyback off of that, Ben Pierman talked about the 2023 Eastern Conference Final that Charleston won here over Louisville to get to that final where they eventually lost on penalties to Phoenix. And then each of the last two seasons, if any team has pushed Louisville, it has been Ben Pierman's Battery, and they are doing it again in this 2025 campaign. And here is Rubin for Dos Santos. It could be four, but Dos Santos fires it over the target. And it's hands on heads from some of the Battery players. Could have been a quadruple of goals here.
Just the numbers they hit teams with, the rate in which they climb the field from, you see the involvement from Segbers, Dos Santos, as we see Jeremy Kelly making his entrance. This is a team that is so dangerous and explosive in almost every area of the field, every positional group as well.
It's going to be a triple change for Ben Pierman's side here, brought to you by Publix, who of course love subs. Place to get your favorite Publix sub and all your tailgating needs is Publix.com. The players coming out are Rubio Rubin, Emilio Icaza, who scored the second Battery goal, and Cal Jennings, you see there, exiting the field of play. Chris Allen is coming on. Jeremy Kelly, one of the new impact signings for the Battery, also coming in. And so is the doctor, M.D. Myers, adding on to that attacking depth. A fresh trifecta of subs as we approach the hour mark.
I mean, teams have got to look at this and just say, what do I have to do to get at least a little breather? I mean, what a ball over the top here.
This is Rodriguez, plays it across. Keeper Rodriguez gets another big touch on it. It's going to be a footnote more than likely, but Felipe Rodriguez has been phenomenal.
Absolutely.
For Miami. This could be 6 or 7. The way the Battery have been off to the races here. Felipe has kept Miami in any kind of distance here. Torres back across. Knutson steps in and clears for Miami. But it's won back by Malloy. And Torres has a rifle of a left boot. It hits off of Knutson. It goes out for a corner. As long as he's on the field, Torres is in range.
You can see the body language from Miami FC. I mean, they just cannot get any sort of rhythm or any sort of fluidity, whether it's out of the build or in that final third, and have to deal with another left-footed delivery from Juan David Torres here on the corner.
Another corner brought to you by her law firm. Torres' delivery again is headed off the line at the near post. Of course, Torres has been known to flirt with Olympicos, if not score them, in his career. He's nearly on target again, and now Miami go to their reinforcements here. Francesco Celeste is coming on for Cardona. Vasquez is coming off for Miami, and one of the youngsters out of their academy, Brandon Bent, is coming on. So a double switch for Miami after they made the halftime adjustment, just trying to get any sort of momentum going back in their direction at the moment.
And that's exactly what this is about. I mean, obviously you want to see how players can contribute and start building up that role that you need them to play it. Because this, as we enter the second half of the season, this is still a long stretch. I mean, you've mentioned that you can't afford to go on a poor spell and a poor run of form, but there are still a lot of points out there for each of these players. It's how are you going to contribute to earning those points and earning results. Miami FC, if this scoreline holds, and obviously Charleston has just continued to put the foot on the gas and test Felipe Rodriguez, it is that balance and that fine line of a result is a result. It is what it is. You lose 3-0, you lose 1-0. I mean, it's all the same. It's 0 points for you. So how do you move forward, especially, again, you talk to everybody around this Miami FC organization, you can just feel the competitiveness. You can just feel the emotional attachment to this team, each other, their passion for the game. This team is extremely ambitious and feel good about what kind of run they can make if they make the playoffs.
Here's Kelly, chopping it back. Allen. And again, there's contact away from the ball. Referee lets play continue. Waves on advantage for Arturo Rodriguez. His going down moment. Allen flipping an early ball into the penalty area. Myers. It was so dangerous in and around those quarters inside the penalty area. Puts it on target, but nothing more than that.
But with that said, Charleston Battery putting on a clinic of what one of the top teams in the USL Championship looks like. Obviously, had that 1-0 loss at Miami weeks ago, proving why they sit amongst the top of the USL Championship, and that is all about how you respond. It is all about how you not only execute big moments, but in sustaining those moments.
Myers lays it off for Malloy. Get to it in time. Referee waves on advantage for Miami. This is the Jamaican, Brandon Bent. It's his 8th league appearance of the season for the 18-year-old. Glides near and into the penalty area here with 2 men on him. And has some support. Stay to the edge of the area here. It's poked through, and then it's headed towards Rodriguez, who tries to help it along. Myers helps out as well, but Miami regained possession. They'll clip in an early cross, but it's to no one in particular. And Torres will pick it back up for the Battery. Torres and Smith go back and forth. Segbers. If you're wondering what's happening between Louisville and Tulsa, they're at the half at Lynn Family Stadium. It is 0-0. So if that result were to hold, Charleston's lead at the top of the Players' Shield race would increase. Remember, Louisville do have a game in hand on the Battery, so that would keep the Battery in pretty good shape going forward. As some extras here sees Mark Segbers pick up a yellow card. And Celeste picks up a yellow card for Miami for some extracurriculars.
Looks like a third yellow is being issued.
I think our on-field mics picked up the word dissent from our referee Matthew Corrigan, and Juan David Torres, to your point, Coach, was the third player to pick up a yellow card. There's also a Battery player down away from the action, holding onto a right leg that is getting stretched out at the moment. Celeste's yellow card also confirmed. And Segbers, the double milestone man tonight, also picks up a booking. Well, Miami will get a shot away here. It's wasteful in the end from Milano, and it's a goal kick. Well, the Battery's brand new 2025 kit, of course, is on sale now, I should say, in the stadium. Courtesy of Hummel, Cubs official jersey provider. Check out the full line of Battery gear, including customizable 2025 kits, by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com today. Here is Torres. Trying to switch the point of the attack. It did come up a little bit short. Bonfilio looking to move Miami forward. Hasn't had many definitive touches on it tonight. Tries to get into the middle here. Bonfilio will get a definitive touch here. It's deflected. Handball appeals are waved away as Apanonu stepped in front. Bonfilio trying to add on to his 10 league goals this season. Had it blocked away. Out wide for Allen. Kelly on the overlap.
Bonfilio can score. That would be his 11th of the season. Would put him right up there with Cal Jennings. Abakura, who did not feature for
Torres again.
Cloud United tonight.
Every time Torres touches the ball, you wonder what's going to happen next. Nearly picks out M.D. Myers. Of course, also has 8 goals this season.
And it's that double-edged sword for defending Juan David Torres, because you don't want to allow him to turn and face because of his playmaking ability and creativity, and he can put the ball wherever he wants with that left foot. But you also don't want him to drag you into spaces that are in no man's land. You don't want to be pulled apart as an outside back in a defensive line to go chase him higher up the field so that he can't turn. So then how do you defend him? How do you minimize what he's able to create? And I think that's obviously what a lot of teams are trying to figure out right now. When you mentioned the stats earlier about chances created, obviously had another assist tonight, so continues to lead that statistical category in the league. So you've got to almost pick your poison with how you defend him and how you try to slow him down. So he'll drop into that pocket, he'll face up, and then you have the explosive nature of Cal Jennings that can play either in front of a back line or stretch you. And D. Myers that can create.
Well, Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with friends and family. Groups of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, private hospitality areas, and more. To catch the match, visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan your memorable night at Patriots Point. Here is Juan David Torres. Arturo Rodriguez couldn't quite get the touch on it. And Miami again play through the Battery ball back, and Apononu is fouled. It's a free kick. It looks like there is going to be a yellow card shown to Lucas Milano for the challenge. Clear follow through there. Milano not only gets the yellow card, but gets a talking to as well from Matthew Corrigan. One game that is close to going final elsewhere. It's a big game in both conferences. It is Oakland leading 2-0 at Loudoun. As it stands, that would be a gigantic result for Benny Failhopper's group, and it would be a bit of a blow to Loudoun, who are trying to, of course, give Charleston and Louisville something to think about at the top, but of course they're also trying to hang on to one of those home playoff game seeds in that top 4.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you look at it, you had a feeling that in both conferences there were teams that were below the playoff line that were going to get that jolt. We're going to get that point where they were stacking results, and Oakland Roots seem to be trending in that direction.
Celeste lays it off. It's clipped towards the 6, where Zamudio punches clear. And the Battery get it over the halfway line. Looks like both teams are getting more changes prepared here with about 18 minutes of normal time left. MD Myers, it's a wrestling match here. It's gone against Myers. Miami, I think, we're looking for a flag. Definitely got very physical there, and well, the Battery feel like they do have half a case here for a penalty, but it's gone Miami's way. Meanwhile, there are changes happening here for both teams. Kevin Hoyos is coming in for Mercado. Dejan Veron is also coming in for Miami. So a double swap there. That's it. That's the last 2 Miami changes they can make. And then Leland Archer, a dependable defender, coming on for Mark Segbers, who ends his historic evening. 200 appearances in the regular season, well over now 15,000 minutes as well. That's a Publix substitution for Charleston, as Mark Segbers joins a very exclusive and impressive club in the USL Championship on 2 different fronts. And then Miami made those 2 changes. Milano was the second player to come off. He was on that yellow card he just picked up. So Miami are out of changes, and the Battery have 1 remaining. Allen out wide. Charleston's have had 3 different goal scorers tonight. Certainly when we hinted that both coaches were stressing the possession battle, particularly Miami, Charleston has certainly been in complete command in that pretty much all night.
And I think that plays into setting the line of confrontation. They were able to pin Miami FC back. And when you pin a team back, you do have that space to play backwards, sideways, and then pick and choose the moments that you can play forward. But with that said as well, they have done a terrific job of punishing Miami when they have even given them an inch. They've left a few passing lanes open and they have gone straight down the field. And you have that variety and you have that mix. Just forces the opponent into so many different formations, looks, just unbalances the opposing team, and it has been on full display from the Charleston Battery tonight.
Well, Oakland have won over Loudoun. That's confirmed, a 2-0 win for the Roots. That puts them into the top 8, by the way, in the West, which is of course enough for a playoff spot as Zamudio just about clears that away. It's a Charleston throw. For Loudoun, they stay on just 27 points, and that gap continues to widen between first and second and everybody else.
Sean, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say we're in for a frenetic finish to the USL Championship season in both conferences. And for the Charleston Battery, they're doing it in both boxes. I mean, defensively, obviously keeping a clean sheet tonight. They only have 16 goals against this season. If you look at it from the onset, they have challenged Miami FC. Get this delivery from Malloy. Apinonu tucks away his first goal of his professional career, beating his defender to the spot, and then wicked left foot from Juan David Torres, and Emilio Icaza battling to put himself in that position, sitting in that pocket of space, gets the slightest touches, makes this game 2-0. And Charleston just continued to flood the box and create chance after chance. And Juan David Torres, just so crafty on the ball. I mean, just does things that not many players can do. And this ball from Cal Jennings, and then the runner from Arturo Rodriguez, who was heavily involved early on and was one of the players, Arturo Rodriguez was, that kind of started to initiate that momentum shift for the Charleston Battery. Obviously, it did start with Cal Jennings hitting the post early on. That saw a bit of that progress that they were looking for, but Arturo Rodriguez had a couple good looks at goal.
Well, again, these are the live standings at the top of the East at the moment. Again, Louisville are still playing Tulsa. We're trying to hang on to the top spot in the West at the moment. Of course, that's a bit of a Luke Spencer derby, if you will. Of course, a Louisville legend going back coaching against them tonight. It's 0-0 at the half at the moment, and if that holds, even with Louisville's game in hand, the Battery would be sitting rather, maybe not comfortably, but in a good spot at the top of the Players' Shield race if that result continues to go in either Tulsa's favor or a draw.
And when you have a playoff race that is tightly contested, obviously you've mentioned Charleston Battery and Lou City are the two teams that seem to be the two teams vying for the Players' Shield. But the rest, now it's going to be on your teams and your groups to respond after possibly results like this.
Another long distance effort tracked down by Leland Archer. And Brandon Bent trying to shape up for a shot. Again, Archer is there to block it. Malloy puts in the challenge. And which way is this going to go? Referee is going to give a yellow card. It's going to be a Battery free kick as Malloy, he's still down. And Gavilanes, the substitute, sees a yellow card.
For Miami FC, it's it's going to have to be that quick switch to that you are ambitious. You want to be in the playoffs. You feel like you have the team that, as you see the foul there, earns the yellow. But when you are a team that is talking about being playoff bound and the ambition you have and the goals that you have for the group, after this game you are going to still be below the playoff line. And how you respond is going to be crucial because you have 2 road games, as we saw in the standings, one against a team that sits top 4 right now in Pittsburgh Riverhounds that have found their form, and then again at Hartford, who's a team below the playoff line that will be scratching and clawing to get themselves in the conversation. Had that draw at Rhode Island today, picked up 1 point. That's 2 big away matches against Eastern Conference opponents. And you host El Paso.
Here's Rodriguez for the Battery. Gonna put a cherry on top of proceedings here. It's a good challenge defensively as Kelly was marauding forward. It is gonna be a Piper Law Firm corner for Charleston. With about 10 minutes and stoppages to go.
That's the other areas. Charleston Battery are going to continue over the next couple games and weeks getting Jeremy Kelly involved and up to speed in terms of how this team is playing and his role within that team.
By the way, I'm gonna have Juan David Torres on the corners. How about Aaron Malloy as the backup, potentially in that pecking order? And his service is excellent as well. Tried to find Graham Smith, touched away. The aforementioned Kelly plays it right back in. And Leland Archer's header ricochets wide of the frame. Looks like it's gonna stay here for another Battery corner.
And no question that when this is all said and done, Miami FC are going to take a close look at how they are setting up a defensive and defending corners, because conceded the 2 goals and that being a dangerous second wave attack.
Second try for Malloy is over the goalkeeper's head. After Rodriguez missed it, looked like Graham Smith got his head onto it, but misses the frame.
And I do think a piece of that is the growth and the evolution of Felipe Rodriguez's ability to command and navigate traffic within his box. And you can see some of his first steps taking him in different positions that don't allow him to make a play. And we've seen him overrun or miss a couple services. Does not take away from the performance he has had tonight. I mean, shot-stopping ability is very bright in this young career of Felipe Rodriguez.
Gavilanes. Dos Santos' header away. Miami pick up the pieces here. Flip it back into the area. Ooh, it's nearly a free header on Filio. In the end, the Battery will clear it with about 7 minutes of normal time left. Well, the Battery are back in action here at Patriots Point, July 26th. They take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticketing provider of the Battery. Get yours now.
That being a Jägermeister Cup match. And then right after that game, we've got a matchup with Lou City.
Circle it on your calendars. No
at Lou
questions
City,
about that.
at Lynn Family.
Yeah, that one is as juicy as it gets in the USL Championship. That's why tonight was important. You want to have the upper hand, right, heading into that game. Even if Louisville have a game in hand, you want to be able to go there with a chance to leave and have the lead in the Players' Shield. And Charleston are going to put themselves in that spot tonight, regardless of Louisville's result. Just could be a little bit bigger. of a points gap if Louisville dropped points against Tulsa tonight. That was another big reason why the Battery needed to come out here and make a statement, and they certainly have. Against a Miami side that's trying to get back off the mat. It's going to be potentially 4 in a row without a win for them in the league as they continue to pursue a playoff bid. Torres gets a little too fancy there with a back heel. Miami used that to clear it away, but Smith follows up and Archer finds Malloy. Can open up here. Kelly trying to fit it through for Rodriguez, and again Miami have the answer that time defensively. Bonfilio has really been held in check tonight. That's another. Miami look to play their way through on this far side, and Malloy's beaten here. Chance to go to the byline and get a cross in. It's going to be an overhead kick, and then it falls for Gavilanes, and it's blocked away by Apononu. Ben Pierman talked about the amount of blocks and challenges, the winning ugly mentality on full display there. Trying to hold on to this clean sheet. And then Knutson is upended by Rodriguez. Miami free kick after some brave Battery defending up the other end.
We've seen here towards the latter part of this game, Miami FC being able to create some chances with that wide delivery, whether it be deep towards the byline or some of the early service. It still comes down to it. They have not been able to create that clear chance, and to your point, and Pierman had talked about it, that mentality of getting the blocks, getting some of those plays and influencing those final actions would be something for his team is in this second portion of the season so important.
He called the win, Ben Pierman, against New Mexico, an excellent performance. I'm very curious what he's going to call this performance. It must be right up there. He checked off pretty much every box to this point.
Yeah, like I said, offensively, if you were going to really shine a light on anything, maybe the efficiency. This is a team that leads the league in conversion rate, which is no surprise because of the rate in which they create too. But you look at some of the opportunities they've left on the table. I mean, you take a look at that, but then maybe the end of this match, you are absorbing some chances that you don't necessarily need to, and some turnovers just like that you might want to fine tune. But other than that, I mean, it has been as clinical gets.
Myers through the middle from Rodriguez. Nearly another delectable feed in behind, but Knutson does well for Miami defensively.
What I would add is what you see, whether it's in the game of football or any sport, from teams that hold that standard, and you see it with this Charleston Battery side, that selflessness, that ability and that desire to make a play, regardless of it means you being on the score sheet or you getting the credit for it. They are making that run because it's the run that needs to be made. They are making that block because it's the block that needs to be made, and it's the play that's important in that moment. And that's where this team is putting so much value on, is being a good teammate.
Well, a public substitution, last one of the night. Arturo Rodriguez, who was fabulous from start to finish. He will exit. And, well, Ben Pierman and his reaction tells you everything you need to know about what Arturo Rodriguez provided in the game tonight. Johnny Klein replaces him. Arturo Rodriguez, I mean, what can you say? He was just top drawer as Juan David Torres, again, tries to test Rodriguez. That'll flutter out of play. One of many Battery players who were brilliant all night. Good step there from Archer to get Smith and Zamudio back in the vicinity. Coach, you mentioned briefly what's ahead for the Battery. Doesn't get any easier for Miami either. Finish Jaeger Cup against South Georgia Tormenta. Still a chance that Miami could go through there, by the way. As we enter 3 added minutes, brought to you by MUSC Health, Sports Medicine. Then 2 tough road games. Pittsburgh away to end July, and then August 6th, the midweek game. They go play Brendan Burke's Hartford Athletic. We'll be hoping to continue a decent run of form. And a couple of home games in August. El Paso at home, Louisville at home as well. So big stretch coming up for Miami if they want to hang around in this playoff race in the East. They will certainly have to earn it. As Torres, again, tries to feather that through. MD Myers follows up and is deemed to have committed a foul. We could have given it to a couple of different players, but our Fix It 24/7 man of the match is Juan David Torres, who was magical tonight.
Yeah, you can talk about involvement, but positive involvement, progressive involvement. I mean, the way that he can make plays and seize the field, it just adds to how collectively dangerous this team is. And what a night from Juan David Torres. Did not score, but obviously the delivery from the Emilio Icaza goal. Every time he's on the ball, you have a feeling something dangerous can happen.
May have to give the likes of Arturo Rodriguez an honorable mention there as well. So many guys were just at the top level for Ben Pierman's men tonight. Gavilanes with the cross in. Cleared away only as far as Bent, who follows up. Archer swipes it away from him. And with just over a minute left, Miami have a throw.
And just to touch back on Miami FC's upcoming games, they have that Jägermeister Cup game against South Georgia Tormenta, but then they flip around from playing on a Saturday to on the road on Tuesday to Pittsburgh Riverhounds.
This ball's clipped in here. Could be a header for Gavilanes to attack. Is not on target, and the Battery now closing in on what would be their 13th win of the season, what would be their 8th win at home in 9 played in the league. And again, with this result just about in hand for the Battery, it's now going to be unbeaten in 5 league games for Ben Pierman's side, who are playing as well as they've played all season. And with the pieces, the depth pieces that they've added, Kelly and Rubin, they really look like title contenders again. Charleston Battery, they got so close a couple of years ago, and they look ready for another push this season. A statement performance from the Players' Shield leaders. The Charleston Battery were fabulous from start to finish, and they dominate Miami by 3-0. 3 different goal scorers along the way. The likes of Rodriguez and Torres were just sensational from start to finish, and the Charleston Battery looked like one of, if not the best teams in the league all night long.
Just thorough from the Charleston Battery and Ben Pierman's group. I mean, after being asked some difficult questions in that first few minutes of the game from Miami FC, they answered the bell, and then it became one-way traffic. They found the outlets, they found the chances, and they converted. And my goodness, they looked dangerous throughout the night and obviously did not concede a goal.
As advertised, really, the Charleston Battery this evening. Miami go back to the drawing board. It is now 4 without a win. Gaston Madoni's side. But the Battery cruise to a 3-0 win over their rivals Miami tonight, and we will wrap it up next.
What do you want? You know, what's that really good non-alcoholic beer I keep hearing about?
Do you have that really great non-alcoholic beer that I keep seeing?
Do you have a non-alcoholic beer that actually
tastes good?
It's athletic. You're holding it.
You mean athletic? You're looking at it. I think you mean athletic.
it's athletic. Ask for it.
NRDNASC is a genomic screening research program. If we can identify a specific genetic factor that's involved, we can intensify the screening with an effort to prevent cancer and heart disease.
The NRDNA project is really a unique opportunity for individuals across the state to participate in genetic testing. That's another way to help provide data and research so we can learn more about the underlying causes of certain health conditions.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Sean and Eric back here with you full time in the Low Country. Charleston Battery celebrate with their home support after a convincing and dominant 3-0 win over Miami FC. Let's jump into the full-time highlights brought to you by Publix, and you're going to see a lot of Charleston Battery opportunities and certainly quite a few goals.
I'm going to say we're going to skip over the first 5 minutes where Miami FC turned the Charleston Battery over and created some dangerous looks, but no clear-cut chances, and Apononu scoring his first professional goal to open the scoring for the Charleston Battery, beating his defender into the space. Credit to the runners around him for clearing the area, but good header past Felipe Rodriguez, and then once you get the first, sitting in that pocket, standing firm, takes it 2-0 and takes that into the break. There was no let-up from the Charleston Battery. They just continued to push forward. And that man, Juan David Torres, didn't need to be that playmaker. Cal Jennings, good ball across. The lead, the awareness that knowing Arturo Rodriguez was trailing. No doubt about this. Bearing it past Felipe Rodriguez, who overall had a terrific night. Just those 3 goals were big.
On the Gildan full-time match stats, Miami never got a shot on target all night. They had 9 total shots. Charleston, they did get some more shots on target in the second half. Could have had 5, 6, maybe even a touchdown and an extra point, but they'll certainly take the points.
And Sean, we have seen and we have called a lot of games where the numbers don't necessarily tell the full scope of the game. I would dare to say that these are just overall comprehensive performance from Ben Pierman's group.
There's moments in a season where teams that are fighting for all the big trophies have to make statements, have to put the flag down and make their moment happen. And the Battery had one of those kind of performances tonight, a message to the rest of the league that they are ready to compete for the top prize again in the USL Championship. They beat Miami convincingly by 3-0 tonight. For Eric Dobransky and our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques saying so long from Mount Pleasant. The Charleston Battery were exquisite from start to finish, and they're at the top of the Players' Shield race.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.